Was you at Crip Mac's?
Yeah. I went.
I thought I heard you talking in the background.
Yeah, no, I made a YouTube vlog. I think I got like 180K right now of me going there, hanging out with his mom, his grandma, his baby. China Mac, nowhere to be found. He was in Vietnam, hiding out from the law.
Well, you know how that go. I did a part 1 on the Crip Mac thing, so I'm going to run part 2 probably tomorrow.
What's part 1?
Well, part 1 is everybody was hearing this 10-year thing. You know, Ghost Gun.
You missed out. You didn't hear my verse.
I want to hear that shit. Let me hear that shit.
I can't do it right now. I'll play for you after. I premiered it for those other dudes.
Ghost Gun, and he had prior convictions and felonies. So when we heard the 33 months, it just sounded suspicious. But I've never done Fed time. I know about the Feds. I got people on my clubhouse floor who's been to the Feds. So I called one of the homies. He did like 262 months, a little over 21 years.
For the same charge?
No, he was a paperwork reader.
Okay.
So I just kind of broke it down to him what it was and the different elements of it. And I told him I was recording him because he didn't want to come to Clubhouse. And he gave me the green light. I could take the recording back and play it.
Okay.
But quite naturally, because I brought the recording back and played it, it's like Wack said it.
Okay.
Right? But
you're inferring that's way too little time.
Definitely. This is what I'm...
And you're inferring that there might be, like, what kind of circumstances would lead to that?
Well, only when you're dealing with the feds, it's whenever you get below the mandatory minimum, right, we automatically assume you're cooperating. But it's other factors. Let me get to it. So he gave his whole spiel.
He's been focusing on his workouts.
About
I think
14,
the judge appreciated that.
14, 15 minutes, his whole spiel on what it is. So, that guy's from the red side.
Okay.
Right? So I called one of my partners from the blue side, Big Fave from Long Beach Insane, because he's done a lot of time in the feds. So I sent him, he heard the recording, and I said, yo, tell me if there's any holes in this or something that's missing. So Big Fave, and this was, Big Fave is, they're trades, they insanes, right? So, Crip Mac's a neighborhood.
Right.
But Big Fave called a spade a spade. So he sent me back this morning everything, all the other possibilities. So part 1 is what we think it to be. Part 2 is going to be the other possibilities by penal code and federal law that it could be.
Okay.
Ultimately, the thing is what's going to call the shot is his actual paperwork.
Crip Mac would never tell. He's a man of principle.
Listen, at the end of the day...
Integrity.
At the end of the day...
He does a lot for his community.
I'm running content, right? And people want to know. So at the end of the day, my man says, what's going to be the determining factor? I don't want to say this wrong.
Don't you think that the conversation about who's snitching should take place privately and then the conclusion should be brought out publicly?
Fuck no.
You think
they don't do nothing privately?
It should all be dragged
they lie
out in
on
public.
Niggas publicly. They make up shit publicly.
Not Crip Mac.
And yes, he does.
He's a good man.
I ain't got nothing against Crip Mac. It's content. Ain't nobody bigger than the content. You know that. Ain't nobody's bigger than the content.
That just seems like a weird excuse to use for every single thing becoming a part of the public record. You don't think any kind of investigation deserves to take place behind closed doors? Yeah, but you're doing it publicly.
So what?
I'm just saying, don't you think that the investigation would seem a little bit more legitimate if you were doing it behind the scenes?
No, because I had one side break down what he thought it to be. I called the other side, and he listened to that, and he sent me everything that it could possibly be in Crip Mac's favor. We're going to run that tomorrow, but it's going to come down to his PSI report, which he has.
You want to know why I don't believe it? So,
what?
3 different people had to see the judge before Crip Mac while I was in there, right? First guy, black dude. Based on his face tattoos and shit, looked like he could have been a gang member, right? They bring him in. The judge immediately says everybody has to leave the courtroom so we can discuss this guy's sentence or whatever. None of us witnessed any of it. So obviously we are all talking outside and we're like, if I had to guess, that's probably because he's cooperating, okay?
But you didn't see the paperwork.
We didn't see it.
See, you're doing it.
I'm not specifying who this guy was. I don't know who the fuck he was. It's just some guy. But then after him, Mexican guy, problems with meth, involved in alleged murder, whatever. They're talking about his probation. But this all happens right in front of us. Next guy, dude who lost his business as a result of the pandemic, etc., had a meth charge, violated his probation. That all takes place in front of us. Then Crip Mac comes out. They do the whole little song and dance with Crip Mac. They don't kick us out of the room. So you got 4 people. One of them, we got kicked out of the courtroom so that they could discuss. Seems reasonable to think that that might have been a snitching thing. Crip Mac, we all get to stay in there. So if there was going to be any kind of conversation about like, okay, leniency because you told whatever, from my perspective, no.
All that shit gonna happen how it happened. But at the end of the day, nobody bigger than the content. So I'm gonna run the content and I'm gonna give it a fair shake. I got one side of it, and he's basing it on the mandatory minimum. I sent that recording to my boy Big Fave from Insane. He listened to it, and then everything he sent me was in favor of Crip Mac.
Okay, well, that's good, yeah.
Right, so I'm going to run that tomorrow.
We must honor and elevate Crip Mac.
At the end of the day,
of 55th Street.
At the end of the day, the PSI. So you're going to have this side, and then what's going to call the shot is a PSI report.
Okay.
Now, people get mad at me like they get mad at you.
PSI stands for what? Pounds per square inch?
It is.
That's what it is when you're filling up a tire. No?
Right, this is why I'm calling federal people that been to the feds, did a lot of time in the feds to break it down, right? So I'm not going to be guessing with that type of shit. So I believe that based upon my study, there's a few factors in there that probably help Crip Mac.
Okay.
For one,
his workouts.
Your punk ass showing up.
There you go.
Remember what I told you?
And Andrew Callahan, big deal.
Remember what I told you?
Andrew Callahan did a GoFundMe, raise $50,000 for his lawyer.
But look, remember I told you? That makes a difference.
Okay.
You showing up. You showing up.
Barely acknowledged me, but
they acknowledged that his employer.
His lawyer did say that. The judge, I don't think, gave a shit, or it seemed like she was past caring about who was in the courtroom.
No, he got love. 2, I believe his mental history may have played a factor, which Big Fave sent me some literature on that. 3, the fact that the ghost gun, and this I don't know for sure, was kind of was like inoperable.
It couldn't shoot, yeah.
Right? So I think those play. Now the 2 things that puzzled me was he had 2 or 3 prior convictions, which when it comes to the little chart kind of elevates you up there. But he might have got a safety valve based on his mental. So we're going to go over that. Baby Runner from Neighborhood 40s, he called me. Well, he came in the room talking crazy in the chat. I wasn't in there. So I called my man Pee-wee. Pee-wee got him on the phone. Me and Baby Runner went back for about 30 minutes when everything calmed down. And I sent him what I had. He said, okay, Wack, you really did do some research. I thought you was just on bullshit. I said, bro, I'm not going to run all the content at once. I'm going to run one side, let the people chatter. I'm going to run the other side, let them chatter. And then ultimately, it's going to come down to the PSR report. So I'm going to bring Baby Runner on Clubhouse. We're going to go over this shit.
Is Baby Runner anti-Crip Mac in this? No, right?
No, he's pro-Crip Mac.
Okay, good, yeah.
He's pro-Crip Mac. But, for me to go run the room without him being there, because he really called real upset today. I got to keep it real because he's the only one that really seems to be upset.
Baby Runner?
Crip Mac's my guy.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to respect that. Once he saw the shit I had, he said, damn, Wack, you really was doing your homework. I said, there's 2 sides to it.
If Crip Mac told, that would be my 9/11. And I lived through 9/11, so it would be worse than that.
It's only one thing. I'm just giving this perspective, one not in favor of him, one in favor of him. So now all the factors are there, and then his PSR report is going to dictate. Okay. And probably Lupe or somebody has that shit.
Hit my Lupe. Hit my Lupe.
Yeah.
Hit my Lupe.
If not, they better get it from the attorney, and I'm pretty sure they requested from him because they see both sides and they know people is talking. It could be, it might not be. He said this is that, this that. Okay, the PSI dictates it. I'm pretty sure when they request it, they'll put it up, and then that'll be it.
Once you figure out that Crip Mac has never told, I want you to celebrate that as loudly as you have voiced this investigation.
Listen, I don't give a if he told or didn't tell. It's just content for me. No, I don't.
Okay, but you care about it in the sense that it's going to change how your content comes out.
No. It's content regardless. The other shit's moving already. Right? It's already moving. The one side. I started, now let me tell you what I did. I let go the side that's not in favor of him first. Mm-hmm. Why? Because the attention span of people is going to remember what?
You ever watch a documentary? They hit you with all the crazy theories and shit before they get to the actual truth. The
last thing that's put in front of them.
Right.
So the last thing I'm putting in front of them are all these things that's in his favor. Right? Now, I don't give a if he did or didn't shit. It didn't matter to me. But looking at a lot of the facts that my boy Big Fave sent me, I see it's a possibility that he could have got what he got.
I guess I could maybe see Crip Mac saying the wrong thing at the wrong moment with the cops, just because he's such a free spirit and he's so thinking off the top of his head. But in terms of intentionally rolling over on somebody else, no way.
Well, first of all, white guy, that doesn't exist where we're from.
What?
There's no saying the wrong thing at the wrong moment. Once you say the wrong thing, you said the wrong thing. In his defense, I think if Crip Mac did say the wrong thing, it would just be incriminating itself.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
say the wrong thing. Yeah. He'll say some shit that's gonna f him up.
I could kind of.
I don't think he's gonna blurt out.
It was him.
Nah,
it was Hoodie M Slim.
Nah, I don't think he'll do it.